namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. We'll start this morning by taking a few moments to become present. So find yourself a nice, comfortable seated position where your spine, the back of your neck can sit nice and tall and long. I'm going to try to get out of the sun here. There we go. And close your eyes. Soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For your intention this morning, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning, I'd like to circle back to the beginning of the 8 limbs of yoga, and we'll start with the first limb, which is the Yamas. And there's 5 Yamas, the first one being Ahimsa. And Ahimsa is Sanskrit for nonviolence. And oftentimes you see it described as kindness. So the Ahimsa invites us to be nonviolent, non-harmful, compassionate, and kind to ourselves on the mat as well as off the mat. So on the mat, you can be kind to your mind by not giving into any negative thoughts about your practice today. Your yoga, one of my favorite phrases of yoga is that it's not a competitive sport. So it's all about practice. It's not about perfect. So just be kind to yourself in that regard. And for your body, be compassionate and listen to your body. Find that sweet spot between effort and relaxation. Yoga should not be about harming your body. It should be about having your body become more mobile, whether it be flexibility, strength, or balance. And then in spirit, kindness kind of comes forth by if you lead with your heart as opposed to your ego. I try to keep that in mind a lot when I'm running up against anything that could possibly be a conflict or different than what I think, that if I lead with my heart rather than my ego, the transition goes a lot smoother and it's better for both of myself and the people that I'm interacting with. So yoga helps us, and the yamas and niyamas and all the other limbs of yoga helps us to be kind to ourselves on the mat. So we can be kind to ourselves and others off the mat. And a nice phrase that the Dalai Lama uses is, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. And I think that really wraps it up. So for our pranayama this morning, we're going to do a lot of things, hopefully, about the heart today and kind of focusing on the heart and leading with the heart and feeling that kindness that comes from the heart. So for our pranayama today, we're going to do the Dirga pranayama, which is the complete breath. It's the basic breath that we've done many times before. It emanates from your stomach, comes up through your ribs and up to your chest, and in inflating each area as you inhale deeply through your nose. And then you exhale through your nose and it deflates through your chest, through your ribs, and through your stomach. This morning, I'd like you to visualize one of those carnival games where the person hits the hammer on the bottom and the ball goes up and then dings the bell if you hit it hard enough. So think of your stomach as being the base of that game, and then increasing your, inhaling your breath deeply. You're going to watch that ball go up through your tummy, through your ribs, and then up to your heart, and just do a mental ding, 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 ding when it hits your chest area, your heart area, and then it'll flow away. The ball will go, or the metal thing will go back down to the base, and then hit it again and have that breath inhale deeply, come up from your stomach, up through your ribs, up to your chest, ding, 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 and then flow back down again. So just take a few moments to do that deep inhale and deep exhale through your nose, focusing on your heart area and having that bell ring in your heart and your chest area. So inhale. Ding, 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 ding. Exhale. Inhale. Ding, 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 ding. Exhale. Inhale. Ding, 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 ding. And exhale. And then for our meditation, you can get yourself in a nice comfortable position. We'll take a few moments to meditate. And for the mudra today, it's called Lotus Mudra. And it's bringing your thumb and your pinky together and having your other three fingers out and open like a chalice. And it's it creates a more loving attitude toward others. It just it's a heart opener. So you can use this or use your favorite mudra or mantra and take a few moments to meditate, and I'll meet you on the mat. You may open your eyes. Get ready for our asana practice. We'll start with some shoulder shrugs. So just relax your shoulders, let them rest down, And then trying to keep that relaxed feeling. Bring them up toward your ears with the inhale. Roll them toward the back so your shoulder blades come together, and then roll them down toward the mat with the exhale. Inhale, rolling them back up toward your ears. Roll them toward the back, bringing your shoulder blades together. Again, opening your heart. Bring your shoulders down toward the mat. Forward, up toward your ears on the inhale. Exhaling, bringing the shoulder blades back, opening your heart. And down and up with inhales. Down with exhales. And then reverse the direction. And then relax your shoulders, come back to your neutral position. We'll start with, again, some sun breaths, seated sun breaths. So bring your fingertips to the mat and inhale, bringing your hands up overhead. Deep Dirga inhale and Dirga exhale, bringing it all the way up from your stomach to your chest. And then bringing it back down again. So inhale. All the way up to your chest, ding, 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 and then exhale, come back down. Inhale again. Exhale. Inhale again. And exhale. For the seated forward fold, if you bring your right foot, place it in front of your left foot on the mat so that your feet are side by side, not on top of one another. And then just gently, with a straight back, open chest, walk your hands slowly out in front of you and just go as far as what works for you. Again, we're going to have that kindness and compassion to our body, finding that sweet spot between effort and relaxation. And whatever part of the walking of the hands works for you, you can do that. And then once you get to that sweet spot, we're going to walk our hands over to the right side. Just slowly walk them over. And just go to what that another sweet spot would be. And then we'll walk our hands back. Come back up to a seated position. And we'll raise our right leg up so the knees up, pointing toward the sky. Wrap our left arm around our right knee. Send our right hand to the back of the mat. And have it pretty close to your hips so that creates a nice long spine. And again, opens your chest, opening your heart, and turn your head to the right side of the mat. And take 3 deep breaths here. And then come back to the center. Switch feet. So your left foot is out in front of your right foot. And a nice straight back, open chest, open heart. We'll walk again. Walking your hands out in front of you to that sweet spot. And then walk them over to the left side. Find that other sweet spot for a twist. And then walk them back up. Come back up to a seated position and lift your left leg up so the knees up, pointing up to the sky. Wrap your right arm around your left leg. Place your left hand behind your back, close to your hips. With a nice open chest, long back. Take 3 deep breaths. And then come back to center. We're going to roll down on our mat. So you can roll down 1 vertebrae at a time, or express method, whichever works for you. I'm going to go this route, 1 vertebrae at a time. Okay, bring your knees to your chest and give them a nice, gentle hug. Wrapping or interlacing your fingers, wrap your hands around your left knee and extend your right leg to the bottom of the mat. Point both toes so that they're facing up to the sky. Then we're going to take that right leg that's lying on the mat and send it straight up to the sky so that the sole of your foot is facing up to the sky. And then bring that right leg back, knees to chest, give them both a nice hug. And now wrap your hands around your right leg, your right knee, sending your left leg down to the bottom of the mat. Flex both feet so the toes are pointing up to the sky. Then we'll lift that left leg up so that the sole of the left foot is facing up to the sky. Then bring your left leg back to the knees to the chest. Again, give a nice hug, and we'll do that 1 more time on both sides. So wrap your hands around your left knee, send your right leg out to the bottom of the mat. Flex both feet, toes pointing up to the sky. Then lift your right foot up, right leg comes up, and the right sole of your foot is facing up to the sky. Bring your right leg back to your chest, knees to chest, give it a nice hug. Switch sides, hands go on your right knee, left leg extends to the bottom of the mat. Toes are flexed, pointing up to the sky. And then lift your left leg up so that the sole of your left foot is pointing to the sky. Bring that left knee back to your chest. Give a nice hug to both knees. And then extend both legs down to the bottom of the mat. So you're in reclined mountain pose. Shoulders should be nice and relaxed and snug into the mat. Lower back snug into the mat if you can. Toes are flexed. Then let's bring our right foot, slide it up the inner leg on your left leg. So we're sliding it up to the point where it reaches your left knee and your legs form a figure 4. You guide your right knee down to the mat, finding that sweet spot. And that might be just fine for, we're eventually working toward reclined pigeon pose. So you could stay here if you'd like, or if you like, you could bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh right just above the knee, and then slide your left foot up so that your left foot is flat on the mat. And again, guide your right knee so that it's pointing to the right side of the mat, maybe pushing it away from you gently, finding that sweet spot there. And that might be good for you. Or if you like, you can lift your left leg up, interlacing your fingers behind your thigh, guiding your left leg toward your chest. And maybe for an additional stretch, interlace your fingers on top of your left shin and guide your left leg toward your chest for reclined pigeon pose. Remember, doing any part of the pose is doing the pose. So it's not a competitive sport. Then relax everything. We'll send both legs back down to the mat again for reclined mountain pose. And we'll do that on the other side. So slide the sole of your left foot up the inner part of your right leg till it reaches the knee. And your legs form a figure four. And just relax in that. Shoulders are relaxed into the mat. Then bring your left ankle on top of your right leg, your right thigh, just above the knee. Again, figure four. And slide your right foot up so that the sole of your right foot's on the mat. And again, you could guide your left knee so that it's pointing to the left side of the mat, pushing it away from you. So you're creating that open hip movement in this pose. And if you want a little bit more stretch, you could lift your right leg up, interlacing your hands behind the right thigh, guiding the right leg toward your chest. And for additional stretch, interlace your hands in front of or on your shin and guide your leg toward your chest. And then release everything and hug your knees to your chest. Nice gentle hug. And then we're going to roll up, or you can roll over to the side and come up into tabletop. But if you want, you can just tuck your hands behind your knees and start your rolling and come up to a seated position and then come into tabletop. So tabletop, your wrists are right below your shoulders, knees right below your hips. Fingers are spread out, pushing down gently so that you create space between your shoulders and your ears. Navel's tucked to the spine, create a nice flat back. And we're going to exhale into cat. So we're going to round our spine, dropping our head and our tailbone down. Then inhale, lifting our head and our tailbone up for cow. Exhale, rounding the back, dropping the head and tailbone down for cat. Inhale, arching your back, lifting your head and your tailbone up for cow. And then continue on at your own pace. Deep inhales, deep exhales, guiding your movements with your breath. Then come back to a neutral spine, back to tabletop. And then walk our hands back so that we're kneeling on our feet. So you can either kneel with your tops of your feet against the mat, or you can kneel with your toes curled under, or you can kneel straight up so that you're not putting any weight on your feet at all. I kind of like this works for me. So come into a kneeling position, and then we're going to relax our shoulders and interlace our fingers behind our back. Do some chest openers. So inhale, we're going to bring our interlaced fingers away from our hips. Exhale, bring our interlaced fingers to our right hip. Inhale, bring them back away from our hip. And exhale, bring them over to the left hip. Inhale, extend back. Exhale, bring them to the right side. Inhale, extend back. Exhale, over to the left side. Inhale, back. One more time to the right. Inhale, back. And last time over to the left. Release your hands. You can relax your arms and maybe wiggle them around a little bit. And then come back to tabletop, tucking your toes under. We're going to walk our hands back and come into the squat position. And then push down into our feet to stand up to mountain pose. Bringing your toes so that they're parallel with the straight edge of the mat. Lift your toes up off the mat and spread them apart as far as you can. And then bring those spread apart toes back down to the mat, lifting your heels up. And then bring your heels back down so you feel nice and rooted into the mat, into the earth. Get that stability going. Your legs are nice and strong and active. Gentle bend in your knees. Navel's tucked to your spine. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Spine and back of your neck is nice and tall. Crown of your head is reaching up to the sky. We're going to take a deep inhale, bringing our arms up overhead. And exhale, forward fold, bending at the knees to support your lower back. Bring your hands down to the mat. And then just take a moment to check in with your body. See how it's going so far. And see if the kindness that you're giving your body is appreciated. Then we'll inhale, sweeping our hands up our legs to our shins, straightening out our back, having flat back, rolling back our shoulders ever so slightly to open our chest, to open our heart, sending our gaze forward. And exhale, slowly bring the crown of your head down toward the ground for forward fold. Inhale, sweep your hands all the way up from the bottom of the mat, up overhead. And then rise up on your tippy toes for palm tree. And we'll just kind of sway here for a moment. And then lower your heels and bring yourself back down to forward fold. Again, bending at the knees. Support your lower back if that's comfortable for you. Inhale, come up to half forward fold, hands on your shins, flat back, open chest, open heart. Guide your head, crown of your head down toward the ground for forward fold. And then sweep your hands from the mat all the way up to the sky. I'm going to bring our right hand and wrap it around our left wrist. It's a little different form of side stretch. And we're going to pop out our left hip and curve over to the right. And if you find yourself kind of pulling on your left arm, that's okay. It actually helps create that curve, but be careful not to pull it out of its socket. And then come back up. Switch hands. Wrap your left hand around your right wrist. And then guide your right hand over to the left side. Popping out your right hip. Inhale, come back up. We'll do that again on both sides. Wrap your right hand around your left wrist and guide your left hand over toward the right side of the mat. Inhale, come back up. Switch hands and guide your right hand over to the left side of the mat. Inhale, come back up. And sweep your hands down, forward fold, bending at the knees. Inhale, halfway up, half forward fold, flat back, open chest. Exhale, lowering your head, crown of your head toward the ground. And then sweep your hands all the way up from the bottom of the mat to the sky, bringing the palms of your hands together. Bring your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. We're going to lift our left leg up. So to feel the stability in your right leg and just lift your left leg up so that it's at a 90-degree angle, as if you're sitting in a chair. Then we're going to just kind of kick our left foot out, but do a controlled kick. So you're not just like, bing, bing. Feel the movement when you're extending your foot out and feel the movement when you come back. So it's you controlling the kick, not your foot controlling the kick. So just kind of move your foot back and forth, feel the control. And then we'll bring that leg down. We'll do that on the other side. So if you find the stability in your left leg, lifting your right leg up. And then with control effort, bring your toes out front as if you're kicking, and then bring them back. And do that a few times. Just really concentrate on the movement. And bring that back down. Again, inhale, sweeping your hands up overhead. Big inhale, exhale, forward fold. Bending at the knees, coming down. Inhale, halfway up, half forward fold. Flat back, open heart. Exhale, bring the crown of your head down toward the ground. And inhale, sweeping your hands from the mat all the way up overhead. Bringing the palms of your hands together and bringing your hands to heart center again for Anjali Mudra. Then bring your hands to your hips so the fingertips are pointing down. Shoulders are rolled back and relaxed. Chin is tucked to your chest. And then just guide your shoulders back for a supported back bend. Remember to breathe here. You can count 3 deep breaths. And then inhale, come back up. Sweep our hands up overhead with a big inhale. Exhale, forward fold, bringing both hands down to the mat and extending both feet to the back of the mat into downward dog. So get yourself comfortable in your downward dog here. Fingers are splayed apart, arms are straight, chest is reaching toward your thighs, hips are extended up to the sky. Knees are bent, or you could be pedaling. And take 3 deep breaths here. And then we're going to take our right knee, bring it to our right elbow. Hold, breathe. And then bring that back to downward dog. Pedal out. Bring our knee to our elbow again. On the inhale. Hold, breathe. And then bring it back to downward dog. Pedal out. And then on the third one, we're going to bring our right foot between our hands, coming into runner's lunge. So inhale, guide your right foot between your hands, coming into runner's lunge. Knees stacked over your ankle, back leg is nice and active and strong. Back heels pushing to the back of the mat. You place our left hand down onto the mat and sweep our right hand up to the sky. Opening your chest, opening your heart as much as you can. And bring your right hand back down to the mat. We're going to come into a high lunge. So get your feet really comfortably situated. We're going to push down into our front foot. You can do this in 2 steps. You can come up to your knee, placing your hands on your knee, and then come up to the high lunge. Bring your hands together at heart center. And then pivot your back foot down so that it's lying flat on the mat. And you come into warrior 1 position. Your front leg is still bent in the lunge position. Back leg is strong, back edge of your foot, or the edge of your back foot is nice and snug in the mat. Pushing down and out, feeling the strength of your legs, stability of this pose. Then we're going to relax our shoulders, bring our arms in back of our hips, and come into warrior or humble warrior. So you're opening your heart with your hands interlaced behind your chest. And you can do one of 2 versions. You can just lean forward, leaning in with your heart, leading with your heart, and just stay here. Or you can come down, bringing your right shoulder to your right knee for a full humble warrior. Release your hands and bring them to the mat. Come back into runner's lunge. And bring your right foot to the back of the mat. Come into plank pose. And we'll bring our knees down to the mat. Knees, then our chest, and then our chin. Keeping our hands alongside of our rib cage, fingertips right below the shoulders. We're going to lift our hands up, off for baby cobra. And bring our head and hands back down to the mat. And then push down in your hands, lifting up to regular cobra. Hips are still on the mat. Tops of your feet are on the mat. And then come back down to the mat. And then the third version, you can either do the regular cobra we just did, or if you want, you can come up into up dog. So keeping your elbows tucked to your ribs, push down into your arms till they're fully extended. You're on the tops of your feet for up dog or regular cobra. And then bring your knees down. We'll come into child's pose. So lowering your hips toward your ankles, arms outstretched. Just come down, resting your forehead, your third eye onto the mat. And come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under, come up into downward dog. And then slowly walk your feet up toward your hands. Coming into forward fold. And sweep your hands from the mat all the way up overhead. Bring palms together. Bring your hands to heart center. Anjali Mudra. And we're going to do tree pose. So what we did earlier is lift your leg up into 90 degrees. This time do that, but then bring it out to the side if you can. I find keeping my left hand at half on Anjali Mudra helps my balance. And then you can bring your foot to your thigh for tree pose, or foot to your ankle, right foot to left ankle, or right foot to the right shin, toes touching the mat, or elevated off the mat. Whatever works for you. It's your practice. Find the stillness and stability in this pose. And if you want, you can raise your arms up and overhead. Make it your own pose. And bring your hands back down, feet back down, and we'll do that on the other side. So sweeping your hands up overhead, deep inhale, exhale, forward fold, bringing your hands to the mat, extend both feet to the back of the mat for downward dog. Hips are up to the sky. Chest is reaching toward your thighs. 3 deep breaths. Now we're going to inhale, bringing our left knee to our left elbow. Hold and breathe. And back to downward dog. Pedal out. Inhale, left knee to left elbow. Hold and breathe. And back, pedal out. And then we'll bring our left foot between our 2 hands. So guide your left foot up between your 2 hands, coming into runner's lunge. Having that right angle with your knee over your ankle. Back leg is nice and strong, pushing the heel of your back foot toward the back of the mat. Placing your right hand down on the mat. Sweep your left hand up to the sky, opening your heart, opening your chest as much as possible. And then bring your left hand back down to the mat. Coming up into high lunge. You do that 2 steps or 1 full movement. So pushing down your front foot, coming up. Bring your hands to heart center. And then pivot your back, right foot down so that the back edge of your foot is nice and snug in the mat. Warrior 1. Front leg remains in the lunge position. We're going to relax our shoulders, interlace our hands behind our back, and come into modified humble warrior or full humble warrior. And opening your chest and opening your heart. Leading with your heart, bend over, come into that modified humble warrior. Or if you want, bringing your left shoulder down to your left knee, dropping your head so you're looking at your right foot, lifting your hands up to the sky for full humble warrior. And release your hands, bringing them back down the mat, back to runner's lunge, and then bring your right or your left foot to your right foot. Come into plank pose. And you can either come down, knees, chest, chin, like we did before, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to your side. And lift your hands and your head up so your chest is just slightly curved off the mat for a baby cobra. Bring your head back down, hands back down. Then push gently into your hands, lifting up to regular cobra, creating that nice gentle bend in your back. Your hips should be on the mat. Elbows tucked to the side, come back down, forehead to the mat. Then down dog, you're going to push down, fully extending your arms, lifting your hips off the mat. You're on the tops of your feet. And then bring your knees down to the mat, coming into child's pose. Lowering your hips to your ankles, stretching your arms out in front. And relax here and take a few deep breaths. Inhale, come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under, come up into downward dog. And slowly walk your feet up to your hands, coming into a forward fold. Then slowly raise your hands from the mat on up, overhead, palms together, then hands to heart center. And we'll do tree pose on the other side. I'm trying to remember which side we did. I think we did this leg before. So lifting your left leg out. And then taking your left knee, guiding it to the left. And for tree pose, you can either have your foot on the mat and heel against your ankle, foot on your shin, or elevate it up to your thigh. Make it your own pose. And if you can and want, lift your arms up to the sky. And then bring your hands and your feet down. Well done, everyone. We'll come back into mountain, bringing the pinky toes to the edges of our mat, tucking our heels in at a 45-degree angle and toward the center of the mat. Hands to your heart center, Anjali Mudra. Come into a wide-legged squat, so lowering your hips down to the mat, bringing your torso between your legs, elbows resting on the inner part of your knees. And then you bring your hands, lowering them to the mat for a little bit more stretch. And then bring yourself to a seated position. And we're going to roll back down on the mat. So again, you can go one vertebrae at a time or express method. Bring your knees to your chest, give them a nice hug. Rock back and forth, side to side. Give your lower back a nice massage. Then in honor of the sun coming out after so many days, let's draw big round circles for the sun. Yay! So draw a nice round circle with your toes. And then reverse the direction. Massaging your lower back. And then bring our soles of our feet to the mat. We'll set up for bridge pose. So your legs are about hip width apart. Bring your heels close to your hips as you can. Perhaps if you can touch the back of your heel with your finger, that'd be great. We're going to lower our lower back to the mat. We'll start with some supine cat-cow poses. So we're going to arch our back for cow, and then round our back, tilting our pelvis up for cat, arching the back for cow, rounding the back for cat, keeping your hips as close to the mat as you can while you're doing this arching and rounding. So when you come into cat pose, push down in your feet and lift your hips up to the sky. And focus on expanding your heart while you're doing this. So the focus, you have your hips up to the sky, but the focus is in your upper body expanding your upper torso, expanding your heart toward the sky. Palms of your hands are on the mat to support you. So opening your heart, and then we'll slowly lower back down one vertebrae at a time. So we're feeling the back of our heart coming in contact with the mat. And then we'll do a few more cat and cow. Rock and roll here a little bit. And then on your next cat with a rounded back, push down into your feet and lift your hips up to the sky again. Again, focus on expanding your chest, expanding your heart. And then slowly lower one vertebrae at a time, massaging the back of your heart, bringing the back of your heart in contact with the earth. We'll do that one more time. So rock and roll your cat and cows. And then when you get to the cat, rounding your back, push down into your feet, keeping your knees parallel, lifting your hips up, expanding your chest, opening your heart. And slowly lower back down one vertebrae at a time. Guiding the back of your heart down to the mat. And you extend your feet out to the bottom of the mat and prepare for Shavasana. So you relax your whole body. Bring your feet to the corners of your mat and let your feet flop open. Relaxing your ankles, relaxing your shins, your knees, relaxing your hips, lowering your back down toward the mat. Let it melt into the mat. Let your shoulders relax. Let your jaw relax. Soften your eyes. Place a smile on your lips. Letting the nutrients of today's practice soak deep within you. I have a reading today. It's from a website called DailyOM, DailyOM, OM. And this site is basically the talents of one woman, Madisyn Taylor, and she is a beautiful writer. She sends out inspirational messages every single day. And this one is titled Kindness. Kindness is an ideal that is easily accessible to all of us. We all know that a small kindness can make our journeys lighter and more enjoyable. Even bringing an instance of kindness to mind can put a smile on your face for days or weeks later, or perhaps even inspire you to share kindness with another. Though it may seem simple to the point of insignificance, many cultures throughout the world and history have recognized kindness as a powerful virtue. It may be the simplest way to experience and share all of the grandest ideals of humanity. We can make the choice to act from the best place within ourselves at any time, while simultaneously recognizing the highest potential in another with the smallest of acts, nourishing the seed of hope in each soul we encounter.